This time, it's a tutorial, and a very useful tutorial at that. What we're going to be going through today is how to set up your computer to run remote mix sessions using Zoom only. What I mean by that is you can host virtual sessions, or you can invite your clients to the Zoom meeting, and all they have to do is join the meeting. There's no source connect to use, there's no AUDIOMOVERS, none of that nonsense. They can just simply join the meeting without any extra steps, which is great because everyone knows how to use Zoom in this day and age. So let me show you how to get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to rogueamoeba.com, and you're going to buy Loopback, cable-free audio routing for Mac. Now, it's not exactly cheap at $99 US, however, it's much cheaper than paying for AUDIOMOVERS every month indefinitely, and it's far cheaper than Source Connect. So in my opinion, it's a great deal. So go ahead and purchase it, download it, and get it installed on your machine. Now once you've got that installed, go ahead and open it up. And what you're going to want to do is create a couple of devices. The first device is going to be the TalkBack mic. Now, you can't see it, but under my desk, I have the output of my dangerous monitor controller. The slate output. So the TalkBack, I have the TalkBack routed into a preamp on channel 21. And so when I hit the TalkBack button, you can see channel 21 lights up. When I let go, it's gone. So again, I have the slate output of the dangerous monitor controller patched into a free preamp. And then I'm routing that preamp to two output channels, stereo. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this device the TalkBack mic, and it becomes a source. So that's the first device that you'll create. Just to walk through this a little more fully, I'm going to use my interface here, the Symphony IO, right? So I'm going to pick it from my audio devices, and then you drag to make connections, like so. Super easy. You can also delete them like that. But all that said, I've patched this preamp, this input from my converter, channel 21, to an output device. So step 2 is to create another device, but this time it's going to be a pass-through device, which is different. So when you create a new device, it'll default to pass-through. But I'm not going to go through this whole process again, so I'm going to delete this one. But it's a pass-through device called Zoom Mix. You'll patch it left and right to two output channels, and then using the drop down here on the monitors, you're going to be looking for Zoom audio device. You may or may not need to have Zoom running, but as you can see, I've got it running, so we're all good. And then I'm going to patch these two output channels into the input of the Zoom audio device here with the volume at 100. Now once that's complete, you can quit Loopback. We're completely done with it. You don't need to look at it again. Now, an important next step that you might have to take is to restart your computer, because Loopback is going to create those new audio devices here. So you can see the Zoom Mix device is on the sound here, and then also available as an input will be the TalkBack mic, as you'll see in the Zoom application in a second. So let's continue with our setup. So now we're in Pro Tools, and as you can tell, I have some nice background ambiences going here. It's quite pleasant. I like that. Just in time for winter, I've got some winter ambience and a nice little river or brook or something very soothing. Hopefully you like it. But what we're going to do in Pro Tools is I'm just going to, for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to fade out my effects so I can pause them for a second. I'm going to go to Setup. I'm going to go to I/O. And then what I'm going to do is go to Auxiliary I/O under the Output tab. It's going to warn me about this, and you can read that in your free time. What I'm going to want to do is make sure that I have Zoom Mix set up as an output, as an aux I/O device. You can leave this one alone, but the Zoom Mix device needs to be checked under Output. Then you'll hit OK. Before you do that, just note that the TalkBack mic has shown up as well, like I said earlier. So once that's set, it's going to create an output inside of your routing matrix to the Zoom Mix device we created in Loopback. Now, you'll want to create a bus named the same thing as the output, and then map that to that same output. And then once that's done, you can hit OK. And maybe now I'll bring my sound effects back in since we're done with the I/O tab. Alright. So from here, what you're going to do is you're going to open whatever mix session you're going to be working in. So let's say it's this one. I'm going to pick a send on my print track. So just for example here, all my audio tracks from my mix session go to a bus 1112, which is a stereo bus, and then the stereo bus goes onto a print track. And this is where I do all my monitoring. You could just as easily, if you don't use print tracks, you could just have the send up here as well. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to go to send slot A, go to output, and hit Zoom Mix. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit pre-fader, and you'll see why in a second. And maybe I'll just mute this for the time being. Yeah, we'll leave it like that. Okay, we're nearly there. So, the next thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna turn those birds down a little bit. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Zoom, and we're gonna go to Settings, and under Audio, you're gonna want to set the speaker set to whatever interface you have. So for me, it's an Apogee Symphony Thunderbolt. And then you can go ahead and test this. So bear with me. I'm probably going to mute the sound because this is loud. That's great. So I'm hearing the sound as I should be from the call, which is a great sign. Alright, now I'm going to go down to the microphone, and I'm going to select my TalkBack mic that I had created in Loopback. So in that case, it's TalkBack mic right there. And then I can go ahead and test it, so I'm going to have to engage the TalkBack button. And then I'm going to mute the audio, or at least turn it down so I don't blast you. But now I'm going to test that TalkBack function, so I'm going to hit test microphone.
Testing 1 2, 1 2. Testing 2, testing 1 2. check 1 2. Check 1 2, check 1 2.
As you can see, this is now my talkback button for Zoom, which is crazy cool. Now another important thing, and a cool thing about this setup is you can leave the microphone mode on noise removal, which is great because the only thing going to the microphone input is that talkback mic. I'm going to show you how to share sound in a little bit from your DAW session. But typically in other workflows you'd have to use original sound, but in this you don't have to. This is a complete workaround for that, so go ahead and leave that there. You can go ahead and close this out. And then now I'm going to go ahead and start a Zoom meeting. And now that our meeting is started, we're almost ready. And then from here, you'll hit share. And I'll just go ahead and share the desktop because we want them to see, I don't know, the mixer window and the edit window, but you could share whatever you want, it doesn't matter. Here's the important part. Check the share sound box and click this caret, this down caret, and select stereo high fidelity. That's really important. So now I'm going to hit share, and I can minimize that. And from here, what you're going to do is you're going to mute your print track. So you're not going to hear anything, but watch this. When I unmute the send right here and turn this back up, you can hear it again. And what I'm going to do, just to prove that this isn't voodoo, I'm going to record this meeting to the cloud.
Recording in progress.
That way I can prove to you what people on your call will be able to hear. So, here's the cool thing. We are listening to exactly what our clients or people on the call will be listening to with this fader here. It's important to make sure that this print track is muted and that this is pre-fader because for whatever reason, if you leave both of these unmuted, you're going to hear two of everything. So just make sure that while you're sharing your screen that you have the print track muted. And everything should be fine. So now let's do a little bit of a test. So I'm just going to go ahead and pause this very quickly so I can put this track in record enable. And then I'm going to start it again. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll start recording so I can show you exactly what I mean about your clients hearing everything, even the panning. Everything's great. So I'm just recording myself into this session so I can show you what I mean. And while that's happening, I'm just gonna put some breakpoints on the panner so you can hear this moving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's just gonna pan it back and forth so I can prove to you that this method is actually great. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit pause. And then I'm gonna restart it. And now you should begin to hear me. I'll start recording so I can show you exactly what I mean about your clients hearing everything, even the panning. Everything's great. So I'm just recording myself into this session so I can show you what I mean. And while that's happening, I'm just gonna put some breakpoints on the panner so you can hear this moving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's just gonna pan it back and forth so I can prove to you that this method is actually great. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit pause. Alright, so as you can see, you can hear the playback moving left to right. But anyway, that's really it. That's how simple it is to set up a remote session with Zoom. So that when you invite your clients, all they have to do is join the Zoom meeting, and you get to share your screen and share your sound and video as you normally would, sharing a Safari window with audio from the browser. So the cool thing about this is you don't need to use OBS or any extra stuff that might tank your GPU or CPU while you're working on the mix session. It's very light and lean. And also it's much easier for clients to understand. Recently there have been a lot of issues with logging into AUDIOMOVERS on Safari, just with the way that Apple computers handle core audio streaming from a Safari window while you have a Zoom meeting up. So if you do it this way, it makes it very easy for your clients to listen, and the less time you can spend troubleshooting technical stuff with them, the better. So that's really cool. Let me just point out the last really cool part is, again, the talkback button. So when you use your talkback button from your monitor controller, your workflow is basically identical to an in-person workflow, which is crazy cool. So I could be playing my session, and then I could pause it.
And then I could talk to my client just like I normally would with my talkback button.
So that's cool because if your talkback remote has latch function, you can hit it once and latch it so you can hear and talk to them the whole time. Or you can press and hold to talk to them momentarily and then switch it off, meaning you don't need to use headphones while you're on your Zoom call, which is crazy cool. I haven't seen anyone else set up a virtual session like this, so I'm really excited to showcase this, but it is a little complex. If you have any questions about this setup, feel free to drop me a comment below and I'd be happy to help out. I really love figuring this stuff out, and in this post-COVID world, everyone's working remotely. So, thanks for tuning in. This one's kind of a short one, but I hope it was helpful, and if you like my content, please subscribe, like the video, and I'll be back with more. If you have any ideas for future videos, or if you just want to chat, drop me a line. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.